The beginning of Parashat Tavo focuses on the first fruits, the bikurim, that the beginning of the harvest that we were to bring as an offering to God. We're told that we actually give of our own bounty. We're obligated to not take all the blessings that we have and to share our blessings with those who need it most. In fact, in Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12, we're told to perform a ritual once you have set aside in full the 10th part of your yields. In the third year, the year of the tithe, and have given it to those who are most vulnerable, to the Levites, to the stranger, to the orphan, and to the widow, so that they may eat their fill in your land. In the Jerusalem Talmud, we're told that we specifically provide for those who are most vulnerable so that they can be satisfied when they eat. The Mishnah of Tractate Peah states that when we give to the poor, we can't give them less than even a loaf of bread, that is the bare minimum. And if a poor person, somebody who is food insecure, spends Shabbat with us, we provide for each and every one of their meals. Our tradition is clear in our obligation to help those who need it most. And so many more during this pandemic, Eve, as you reminded us, are dependent on both tzedakah and tzedek, both charity and justice. They're dependent on our food pantries and our food banks, but they're also dependent on government assistance now more than ever. For example, the amount of Americans who depend on SNAP benefits, formerly known as food stamps, to help provide for themselves during this period of food insecurity has increased dramatically. In July, our government spent $10.2 billion on SNAP, an almost 100% increase since this pandemic began in March. Those who are food insecure in our country doubled in just a matter of months. And so we think about those during this pandemic who are food insecure, but we also can't forget and imagine what life is like for those who are already struggling with food insecurity before, when for many of us, our financial situation was better, was fine, was full of blessing. All the more so now. This declaration in our Torah portion is a powerful one because it ritually commands us to declare our obligation to support others. It forces us to look inward during this month of Elul, when we're supposed to do cheshbon hanefesh, when we're supposed to do an accounting of ourselves and of our souls. It forces us to ask if we've done enough to help those who need it most. Eve, you charged us to look for the blessings in our lives, that it's easy in the crazy year of 2020. I was using my words delicately when I said crazy year. To focus on all that we've missed and all that has gone wrong. And you've encouraged us to look for the blessings. That's important because it's easy for us, especially now, to focus on that which we're missing. But no doubt, there are those who have much larger losses. Those who aren't sure where their next meal will come from. Those who struggle to have food to put in their fridge. Who go to bed with their bellies rumbling at night. Who choose to skip a meal so they can feed their children instead of themselves. We cannot forget, we cannot neglect, as we search to still find those slivers of light and those blessings that we still have. We cannot neglect those who struggle to find those slivers of light, who struggle in this world. We give of our bounty, of our first fruits and tithe, because we're supposed to give our blessings to others. So now, more than ever, let us literally share our blessings. Let us literally help those who need it most. I would encourage all of us to think about this modern idea, this modern equivalent of tithing. It's of leaving the corners of our fields untouched, the equivalent of truly caring for those who are most vulnerable, not just sharing articles about this reality, not just tweeting with hashtags, but providing for those who need our help most. And in many cases, they are not somebody living on the other side of the world, or somebody living in a town that seems like a distant reality from ours. In many cases, they are our neighbors, they are our friends, and we just don't know it. The Torah demands of us if somebody is in need that we cannot close our hands or our hearts to them. So let us all take on this obligation to open our hands, to open our hearts, to understand that each is made in God's divine image, and so to honor them. And in doing so, we honor God.